confirmation of Neil Gorsuch to serve as an Associate Justice on the Supreme Court of the United States. By any objective measure, Judge Gorsuch is impeccably qualified. He is a graduate of Columbia University and the Harvard Law School and was awarded a doctorate from Oxford. He is a former law clerk to the legendary Justice Byron White, as well as for Justice Kennedy. And he has been a respected federal appellate judge for a decade. Judge Gorsuch has spent a lifetime in the law, and his record indicates that he will make an exemplary justice. Just 2 weeks ago, Judge Gorsuch testified for 20 hours before the Senate Judiciary Committee. His conduct during the hearing only further confirmed what his record demonstrates, that Neil Gorsuch is a principled jurist and a good man. And I was glad for all of us to get that confirmation, because Judge Gorsuch bears a heavy responsibility. He is being asked to fill the seat of Justice Antonin Scalia. In truth, I doubt that anyone could truly fill Justice Scalia's shoes. Justice Scalia was one of a kind, and his enormous impact on the law and on the court will impact this nation for generations to come. All of us miss him dearly. But I take solace in the knowledge that one of the ways in which I believe it will be easiest for Judge Gorsuch to imitate Scalia, perhaps the most important way, is judicial humility. Justice Scalia's greatest strength was not his amazing wit, his mighty pen, or his larger-than-life personality, as much as we loved those parts of him. Rather, it was his consistent unwillingness to accumulate power to himself and to the courts. He refused to impose his own personal policy preferences on the law, but instead understood that his role as a judge was simply to apply the law that the elected representatives of the people had enacted. This type of judging doesn't take otherworldly talent, though Scalia had that in abundance. Instead, it takes character, integrity, humility. Judge Gorsuch's lengthy record and his hearing testimony demonstrate that he has those attributes as well. He understands that his role as a judge is to apply the words of the Constitution and the laws of the United States to the specific cases that come before him, and nothing more. This is critical in an era when the Supreme Court has come to be seen by many, for good reason, as an activist court, as a super legislature that seeks to impose its own will in the place of the written law. It is this very humility that angers so many on the left. They don't want someone who humbly applies the law. Rather, they demand nothing less than a person fully committed to enacting from the Supreme Court bench whatever policies the left is championing at that given moment, because they know that their only refuge is the courts, because the American people would reject the policies at the voting booth. Judge Gorsuch is clearly not that kind of person, so they have committed to opposing his confirmation by whatever means necessary, legitimate or not. Indeed, if this were being decided on qualifications and record, Judge Gorsuch would be confirmed unanimously. And we don't have to hypothesize about that, because Judge Gorsuch has already been confirmed by this body a decade ago by voice vote without recorded dissent. Not a single senator objected. Not Ted Kennedy, not Hillary Clinton, not Barack Obama, not Joe Biden, and not even Democratic members who still serve in this chamber, like Chuck Schumer, Dianne Feinstein, Pat Leahy, or Dick Durbin. Not a one of them spoke out against Gorsuch's nomination to the Court of Appeals. Not one. So what changed? The only thing that changed is that the radical left has become angry, extremely angry. And my Democratic colleagues are worried that they will get opposed from their left in a primary. That's it. Their base demands total war, total obstruction. And they are begrudgingly bowing to this demand. Unfortunately for them, it has proven difficult to invent attacks against an obviously well-qualified judge like Judge Gorsuch. My Democratic colleagues couldn't get any legitimate grievance to stick at the hearings last week, despite their best efforts. But it hasn't stopped them from repeating their outlandish attacks over and over again. If the stakes weren't so high, it might even be humorous. But it isn't really funny, because the primary argument that the Democrats have made is dangerous. Their attack on Neil Gorsuch is a direct attack on the rule of law itself. Contrary to the foundations of our government and legal system, my colleagues from across the aisle are arguing that Judge Gorsuch is unqualified to be a justice because he allegedly failed to side with the, quote, little guy over the big guy. In their view, it is now the job of judges to reject equal protection, to take the blindfold off of Lady Justice, and instead, judges should put their thumbs on the scale to actively discriminate against parties based on their identity. This notion of partisan, results-oriented judging is directly contrary to the constitutional system we have in this country. My Democratic colleagues are openly calling for judges to enforce their own political preferences from the bench, and they want to use a person's willingness or unwillingness to do so as a litmus test for who gets on the court. This isn't even a jurisprudential position. It's a political position. And it's difficult to imagine a more effective way to destroy our judicial system, the best in the world, despite its flaws, than to adopt this results-oriented approach. Make no mistakes. The Democrats' trumpeting of outcome-based judging will have consequences. Judges and potential judges nationwide will now have heard their siren call. You want smooth sailing and a confirmation hearing from the Democrats? Ignore the law, ignore the facts, and pick sides based upon who you sympathize with, whoever is politically correct at that moment in time. My Democratic colleagues claim to detest attacks on the independent judiciary. But there aren't many attacks more dangerous and chilling of true independence and impartiality than the one they're making now.
Hi, this is Sharon reporting from Bad News Media. Thanks for subscribing to our channel and giving us a thumbs up. We really appreciate your support. Please feel free to leave us a comment and share this video with your friends. Thank you.